Again, I have the privilege of talking to someone about our stewardship moment for today. And today I'm talking to Miss Amy Bartholomew. So, Miss Amy, how long have you been at St. John's? I know y'all have had kind of a journey.
Well, I was christened here, and we grew up here until it's probably in middle school, and then the family kind of quit coming to church, and I moved away and did other things over time. And I came back probably in 2000, because I had moved back into town and wanted to come home and have that home feel.
So you kind of grew up in this church in
did.
a lot of ways.
A lot of
and then took a little break and came back.
Right.
Yep.
But NYF was such a big part of my youth.
Okay.
And all that, so yes.
Well, that's good to hear. You are a teacher at Springfield Middle, right?
Yes.
What grade do you teach?
I teach 7th grade social studies.
7th grade social studies.
And
So you've had some of our kids.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So since you're a teacher, how does teaching and service go together in your head? Do you see those two matching in any way?
Well, they are. I literally felt, I've heard people talk about being called. I was called to be a teacher. I was almost 30, I had another career, and the voice came to me and said, you are supposed to be a teacher. And I said, okay. And every door along the way opened, to get the degree, to get the job and all. And then along that way, I determined that my life's purpose was to serve others. And that's where I'm happiest. So teaching for me is service. It's serving the Lord that way. And it just rolls over into other aspects of my life. So,
do you incorporate service into your classroom in any way?
I do. We do it on a day-to-day type of thing. You know, how I treat others and how I expect them to treat others. We've done different groups along the years I've sponsored, and this year I've started a club called the Unified Club. That one of our church members, CJ, I made him my student leader, where we're combining a class of students who are in special education with our other students who are going to be buddies, and they're going to do different things with them, like Special Olympics, and just so that's one way we do service. But almost in everything we do there, we're encouraging them to serve.
I think a lot of times when we think about service as this grand thing, like bringing donations or raising money or building a house or things that are big. But every day we serve people by being kind, by taking a time to see a person and look them in the eye and have that moment. We are serving them and ourselves by showing them God. So that makes a lot of sense.
Right, showing them through my actions.
Right.
The way I deal and the way I try to help build them up into who that they are perfect. I can't say certain things as a teacher,
of course,
but I can say you were perfectly made to be who you are. Now let's embrace that to be yourself.
What's the quote? Share the gospel wherever you go and use words if necessary.
Right.
And I think that's a big part of service. We don't have to say always the words. We just have to show the love and
show the love
and
acceptance.
Yep. So you said you taught social studies, 7th grade social studies. Is that subject easy to tie in service? I would think it would be, because you're teaching lessons of the world and what's happened throughout history and time and the world we live in. So there's a lot of lessons to be learned about serving others through that.
So 7th grade social studies is geography, mostly human geography. So as we look around the world, we're looking at events with people today. What's happening in the world today that's shaping people's lives? And it could be war, issues with immigration, we teach that. The environment, when there are things that happen around the world, storms, different things, how they affect people. We're able to stop and look and say, okay, this is happening, but what about the individual people? Okay, what are their needs? What's happening to them? And it can help to personalize what's happening in the world and give them an idea of what can we do just as people to help others.
So, Miss Amy, you do hospitality on the second Sunday of every month. You make the coffee and all of that. How does serving here at the church impact your walk with God? How does that connect you to God?
To me, service doesn't just mean like the teaching is serving that way. It's serving in a lot of ways. And even with the hospitality is just making coffee and having food for people. It's also even a really great chance as Jesus would, to greet those and ask how they're doing and help you see when there's a need. And even if it's something as simple as holding a cup of coffee so the person
can pour.
Or just showing that little bit of love and care and concern in just that moment, to me, that's service.
And it connects you to the community of believers.
Yes.
And gives you a point of contact.
Yes.
Yeah. Do you think St. John's does enough or offers enough ways to serve? Do you think there's something we're missing? Do you think there's something we should add to our repertoire? Is there something we've done that you loved that you hope we continue to do?
I feel like we do so much already to help others, but there's always more that can be done. And then seeing those needs in the community. One of the things I love about this church is how much of our time and our heart is spent on helping others.
Thank you, Miss Amy. You did great.
Thank you.